Hello, it's Kat here. How are you all? Welcome back to my channel. Well, I finished one of my Halloween journals. I have been working all through the weekend to get this finished, ready for Halloween. So I just made it. So this is a flip through. So I've completely redesigned the actual intention of the journal cover. I've still went with the owl, but I changed the fabric up. I wanted to try out the fabric journal cover from Wendy's Journal Adventures. So it was a little bit challenging, but I got it done. And so the next time I try it, which will be for the second journal, I'm sure it will be a lot easier. The kits, I've used two kits in this journal. I've used Andrea Allen's Halloween Medley. I've also used her add-on and her freebies from her Ko-fi site. And I've used Tracy Fox's Dark Compendium kit. I've used everything. So, I mean, I do have some scraps left, but literally just scraps. But both kits are in here, which is why... bit of a chunky monkey, 2.5 inch spine. So from my original intention of a 1.5 inch spine, which is why I had to redesign the cover, because it just grew and grew and grew. I'm not sure if it's this kit, I'm not sure if it's this journal or the other journal, but there could be some pages in here from the Ukraine. We were being asked to support Ukraine Etsy sellers at one point, so I purchased some digital kits. So there might be, if it's not in this one, it's definitely in the other one. So the journal itself, it's 6 inches high, and it's it's 8.5 inches tall, and it's 6 inches wide. And I think I already mentioned it's a 2.5 inch spine, so it definitely grew. I've just got a ribbon wraparound, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But on a bulb pin here, I've got some... This is from a bracelet that a neighbour gave me. It's they used to own a sort of like a spiritual crystal style store, and this is one of the bracelets. So I've still got a few. This is the actual bracelet that I got the pieces off. So I've still got a few more on there to play with. And also in this kit are, you know, ephemera pieces, paper dolls, etc. Just purchased, and I do have a playlist of some working on parts of the journal, which I will put in the description below. But I also got some Tim Holtz Halloween ephemera bits, paper dolls, some of his sprays, etc. So that's sort of in the journal as well. So I think that's just about covered everything. So this wraparound here is just some ribbon that I picked up in an op shop quite recently, actually. So I thought the color went well, but it was a little bit bright. So I just stitched some black lace trim down the center of it. And this is the cover here. It's the owl, and I've used one of Tim Holt's little bits of ephemera there to finish it off. I've just backed the fabric onto some stained dyed cheesecloth, just with a black base mat board. And if you have a look carefully, you may see that I've just put some foundry wax on the edges, just to sort of give it that gilding sort of edge. On the back here, this little circle here, a friend of mine, it went to Thailand. She's actually half Thai and half Indian, and she knew that I was collecting bits and pieces for my junk journals. So this came off the clothing, but I thought the colors looked good, and I liked just the finish of it. So that's how I've attached the ribbon to the back there. So I'll just move that ribbon aside there, so that, as you saw, that just wraps around. It's not too bad. It does sit nicely, but I just felt it just could do with a bit of a wraparound. Okay, so just open up on the inside there. You'll see that I've just used the fabric. This is Tim Holtz. I don't remember the name of it. If I can find the name of it, I will put that in the description below as well. I've just used some of Andrea's, I think this is last year's kit. and I've used that for the edges there. These are just some things that I had left over. I still want to kind of have a little bit of a play, so I've just tucked those in the side there. So there are 3 signatures. I haven't counted how many pages. I think from memory I put about maybe 8 pages in each signature. So you work out the math on that. Okay, so this is my first signature. This is just some acetate sheet that I had with a whole sheet of butterflies, which I fussy cut out, and then I've just put some eyelash trim there as the little antennas. I'm sure you can see that. Hopefully that will show up. Okay, so whoops, trying to get that in frame. Okay, so if you look back at some of the previous videos I've done, you'll see me working on the pages here, but I've got a pocket here, little tuck spot there. What I did do is, out of the scraps, I made this huge snippet roll, and then I found that quite handy to snip off, and I used that as tag toppers, and I just kind of sprinkled it throughout the journal. I've got just a little bit left here, so I might have to do another one. I did end up like snipping off bits, so I'll have a little Halloween box, and this just sort of will give me a head start on next year. So I've just put some of those on there. Good way to use up your scraps at the end of a project. So I've got some music sheet here. I just did a little bit of collage there. I punched the edges with my paper punch. These are Tracy Fox's labels. I forgot about that. I also did end up purchasing her Halloween labels. Okay, so I've got a flip out here. That's another flip there if you want. And I've just got a photo in here. Okay, I've also got some from the Graphics Fairy. I got some Edgar Allan Poe quotes. I don't know if I printed them perhaps too big, so I didn't quite know what to do with them, but I did end up putting them as strips down the side of pages and just decorated pages. This is actually left over from another Halloween kit I did a while ago, so that's just a little tuck spot there. I used stenciling on some of the pages as well. I don't know if that shows up, but there's just slight stenciling on the pages there. Okay, so that's like tea-dyed paper. That's Tim Holtz washi there. That's some Sleepy Hollow. I found that on the public domain, and I printed that on some vellum there. Okay, so this one flips out like so. And this is a plastic pocket. I was inspired by 49 Dragonflies. She did the free-flowing stitching, but it just inspired me to stamp. The stamps I used for that, if I can pull it out quickly, is this one here. So that is the unraveled. So I just used that stamp there. Okay, so just I used some of the ticking, I think that's what it's called, as the tag toppers there. Okay, another tag, this one I made. So this is a vellum pocket that I stamped, just with a flourish stamp that I've got, and I just created that tag there, and I just backed that with tea-dyed paper. Okay, just did a little bit of light stenciling there. These are some pockets that I created. And this is one of Tracy Fox's tags. So you'll see, I did do a video of how I created those pockets. That's the remnants rub-ons from Tim Holtz. Okay. Love how this little pocket turned out. These are some serviettes that I've had in my stash. I think I got those from Kerry Fellows. Which craft do you do? So lots and lots of different designers in here. Okay, this is an Ideology little paper clip here from Tim Holtz. And the envelopes I ended up sewing in the middle, and I backed them with some fabric and just a few little bits and pieces left over that I've just tucked in there. This is a die that I've had floating around in my stash for a while, so I just wanted to use that in here. And I've just got a couple of little tuck spots. It's created a tuck spot for a couple of little tags here. Okay, so some more of those pockets, and this is some of the snippet trim that I use just to add to the top there. And just, you know, little bits of leftover fabric I used. Love this stamp. I've been dying to use this stamp. This is a Tim Holtz Raven stamp. I don't know if this is still available, but I purchased it and been dying to do a journal where I can use it. So I think I had it like that, so you could just get a little glimpse of the raven there in the background. Just had some fabric left over, so I just wanted to put that in there, so I might end up decorating one of the pages with that later on. And just made a little tuck here just to add in there. I think from memory these are some freebies that I found on my computer, and they're from Andrea. There must have been a freebie she gave out in a previous year. I've also noticed people are doing this page edging with their scraps, which I thought was a great idea. So I've added that to some of my pages. There's some more fabric left over, which I've just clipped on there. Here's the other side of the vellum paper there. And some tea stained paper. I generally do tea stained. I have done coffee dyed, but I just prefer to do the tea dyed paper. So, and that's some edging that I've done on the inside there. Bit of fabric trim there from some of that fabric that I had, which I've just edged with some lace. And there's the music paper there with the punched edges. Okay, another one of those pockets, and these are Tracy tags from her dark compendium, which I've just embellished a little bit with some of the lace there, and again I've just decorated it with that ticking fabric that I've got. I did also purchase some labels from another Etsy shop, and I don't know which one it was, I'm sorry. And again, I thought I had printed it out too big, but I ended up sort of fussy tearing it, and then I sprinkled this throughout the journal as well. So that's the end of the first signature, and this is the middle signature. So Tracy had a lot of circles in her kit, and I wasn't really sure what to do with them, but I did make this little cluster sort of hanging dangle here, which I've just attached there. And this is one of the tags from her kit, which I've used my paper snippet roll there just as a tag topper. Okay, it's a little tuck spot there. That just opens out like that. So I wanted to have plenty of writing space. I have made journals in the past where I have over embellished, and then I've gone to use them and they're just like, there was no writing space, so it was very difficult. So I've tried to keep that in mind when I've created this journal. So this is a stencil from Tim Holtz Halloween. Okay, so I've used the these are out of I think these might have been out of Andrea's kit, but these little whale tail tabs come in the kits. This is a Remnants rub-on here. That was a lot of fun using that. A bit more stenciling on the page there. So this I ended up making a little booklet out of, and I just got some of the scrap bits of paper and just made that little booklet there. I've stamped This is cereal box, you know, the packaging inside the cereal boxes. So I use that, and I stamped on it and just added some labels and some sayings. This trim here I've had in my kit, in my stash for quite a while, so I was glad that I was able to incorporate it into here. So it's another little vellum pocket. This one was inspired by Angela Kerr. I was watching a couple of her videos, and she did a video where she had these vellum. She had some paper crochet lace across the top here. I have ordered that die because it was just so lovely, but hasn't arrived yet. Okay, so another pocket here. And this is one of the tags from Andrea's kit, and I paired it up with one of the tickets as well. That's also the front of that signature there. Okay, I did some stitching on some of the pages, not all of them. Okay, so I did a little video on how I made these. So that's the moon mask by Tim Holtz with the bat stamps that I've got. There's a little bit of the paper snippet there, and that's from Andrea's. That might be from her freebie. And yeah, I just sort of made this little layout here, which I really enjoyed. First time I've done something like that, but something I've been wanting to do. I want to bring a bit more mixed media into my journals. That's the other side of the vellum pocket page that was inspired by Angela Kerr, and I've just done a little bit of collage and just little tags in there. So paper dolls are something that I haven't really played with a lot, but I've done them in here a little bit. So that's the paper dolls, and just a little couple of tags in the back there, and just some Edgar Allan Poe quotes up the top there. This is interesting. Just got some fabric scrap trim that I had left there. Just a little bit of stenciling, some stamping. And I just put that card there to make a little side tuck, which I've got one of Angela's tags, and then I've put my snippet, and I did a little bit of, that's the paper snippet topper there, and then I've put a little bit of stenciling on the back, because when you turn it over, I just didn't want to see that white. I must not have backed that with tea stain paper, so I just did a little bit of stenciling on there. So just some plain paper for some writing space. This one here is a now this one I was inspired by is it Tracy Sparkle of Trace, or no, I will link the video where I was inspired by this. I think I may have done a video on this one as well, but it's a belly band, which I haven't put anything in there. Here we go. Got a little bit of leftover. So you can use that as a belly band, and then it opens up, and you could write on that, or you could paste some paper down on that and use it as writing space there, and then it's got a magnetic closure. So I really enjoyed making that one, and then that one opens up for some writing space. Some more writing space on these pages here. You could put photos, or if you had some printouts, you could decorate that a little bit as well. You could collage on there, and then just make another collage on top of that and use that as a background page. And another one of the pockets that I made with the ticket as a second little tuck spot. And again, that's my paper snippet trim there. I attached a lot of them with staples. I've got a regular size staple there, but I've also got this little tiny stapler. It's called a Bambi. I've had it for years and years, so I quite often bring that out and use that in my journals now. It was when I used to travel around a bit with my job. I used to do on-site visits, and I used to take a little pencil case. And so I found that little stapler, which was small enough to fit inside a pencil case. So we're into the third signature now. Again, I used a little bit of the Fussy Cut butterfly there. And this is from Tracy Fox Labels, and this is a die cut that I've got, and I've used some foundry wax on that just to give that a little bit of a shine there on the features. Okay, so I've got a little glassine bag in the middle that I've decorated, and that fits one of the journal cards. This is a little cluster that I made. I just decorated the bottom of the page there. Okay, again, I just used a bit of scrap paper, and I used that to edge the page, and then I just used my paper dolls. This is a public domain image that I found of Edgar Allan Poe. That's his tombstone there. And this is one of Andrea's pages from her previous year's kit. I hope I've got that right, but it's definitely one of her older kits. Okay, so I've just got some tags there that I have just clipped in on the side there. That's the other side. Okay, so it opens out for more writing space. This is a belly band that I made. This is the 3D impresslet frame Tim Holtz. And I've got a tutorial or a video, process video that I did on how I made this. So you can look that up if you're interested. If there's anything in here that you would like to know more about, please let me know in the descriptions. I'll be more than happy to do another video, or you know, if you just want some more information, just let me know in the comments below. Okay, so I just use that as a belly band. This one I found in my stash, which I didn't even know I had, and I'm a huge fan of that movie, so I was really pleased to see that. I can't believe I didn't even know I had that in there. Okay, so this is a freebie that Andrea did, and completely inspired by Andrea. So I just followed along with her video. So on this side here, I've just done a little tuck spot. That's a little crystal ball. I think that's what they're called, crystal ball, that I just played around with. Just cut it out of vellum, and I just had some Raven little die cuts there that I just sort of put in the background, and that's one of the tags. I will say that this style of journal, it does sit very flat, so I do like it. It's very good, you know, if you want to write or work in the journal. And this is just a little pocket window. I had some acetate, I had some vellum left over. That had I had done a few prints and they hadn't worked out very well, and it had smeared a little bit in the middle here, but I just cut the circle out and used that as my background, and just did a little bit of collage on the edges here. Andrea used some Tim Holtz packaging, which now I do have, but at the time I didn't. So yeah, I've just just added that little side tuck spot there. It's a little brown paper bag with the damask pattern. I do sell these in my shop, but they do look nice in journals. And this is just something I had floating around. I'll just have to re-glue that down. It's just caught a little bit when I've tucked it in. I'll just re-glue that down. It's just a little fabric pocket here, decorated with one of the moths and an Edgar Allan Poe quote there, and I've just got one of the tags, which again I've used some of my paper snippet there. This is the middle here. I'm thinking about adding some lace on here, but I just seem to be putting lace on everything, so I just sort of thought I'll just leave it for now, but I might end up putting some lace on each edge because I think that would finish it off nicely. And I'll just put the envelope in the middle here. I used one of the tickets to close the envelope flap down, and I've just put a few extra little cards in there. Okay, This is a lot of fun. I really enjoyed making this. It's just a old envelope that I had, and I used some of the collage paper from Tim Holtz. I cut the window out and I had some more of that serviette. This one was more of a white background, whereas the other one that I used was more of a sort of a ivory coloured background. So I just backed that, made a window, and I just did some stitching around there. And just I was playing around with some scrap embossing manila file folder pieces that I had, and I was just experimenting with some of the stitches on my machine, and I just ended up using that as a tab. And then I just did some stamping, some little fabric down here just to put this little pocket piece down, and a little paper doll there on the edge there. And that's the other bit of the paper bag there. Another plain coffee dyed piece of paper with some stenciling, and I've just edged that with one of the quotes. Love this. It's very dark, but I didn't mind that. It's sort of kind of the look I was going for. And just pop that tag in there. And this is a little fabric flip. This is from Ideology, Tim Holtz Ideology, and I love that Vanishing Visitors. So I wanted to make that look like it's one of those, you know, when you go for a tarot reading or go for a reading and they've got those booths with the curtains. That's sort of the look I was trying to go for there. Okay, another one of those pockets that I made. This time I covered it in fabric, just some scraps that I had. This was a public, that's that, on the other side of this is that Edgar Allan Poe tombstone, but this one is a haunted house. Again, I found this on the public domain. And this is a public domain image that I found and returned Wanderers. And I've just used a cabinet card and I've embossed it, and then I've attached it with some of the fabric washi. This is Tim Holtz, yeah, so this is Tim Holtz, but that I found public domain, and I've just grunged it up. And then you open that one out. Sorry, let me just grab that. And I've just backed it with some book page that I had, which it talks about night, and that's I may have said that these are coffee stain paper. Some of them are coffee stain paper, but some of these I've dyed the papers with ink, and I do have a process video on how I did that. Okay, so glassine bag there, which, oh, it slipped out as I've sewn it. Never mind. As I said, I struggled a lot with sewing in the signatures for this, but out of all of that, that's probably the only thing I've noticed that's happened, but never mind, that's okay, I can live with that. And that's just got a couple of tags in it, and then I've done this little, as I said, I sort of got to the point where I just felt like all I was doing was adding lace. I could probably do other things to decorate it, but I mean, I had to stop at some point, so I might come back in and decorate those up a little bit more later on, just for something to do. And this is the final back cover, and just added some extra tags in there. So that's it. That's my journal there for Halloween journal for 2022. As I said, if you've got any questions or comments, or you would like to know anything more about the journal and the process that I did in making any of it, just please let me know. I'd be more than happy to help you out. But that's how the closure works. I just tuck that there like that, and there she is. So I hope you enjoyed that. I hope that gave you some ideas. But yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Thank you. Bye.